In last week's episode, you could see that after a long time of preparation, we finally left our home harbor in Kielbeek to start our big journey through Kiel Canal next to the huge cargo ships passing by. Necessary tide calculations and tricky passages made our first trips in the North Sea exciting and challenging. The nostalgic train ride on Wangerooge, and especially the island's unique nature, made us want to see more of this island chain. We had a good wind forecast and started our next bigger hop to the westernmost of the East Frisian Islands.
Good morning. We just left Wangerooge Harbor and we are now on the way to Borkum. It's about 65 nautical miles from here. So as you can see, it's not so nice sailing here. But hopefully, when we are a little bit out in the North Sea, the waves will become a little bit longer and not so choppy.
The trip didn't really get any smoother, but was quite rolly. These conditions led to the captain not being available for the rest of the day anymore. This does not happen very often, but unluckily it did happen on the way to Borkum. Oh, Ilya, what happened this morning? What is wrong? What's the problem?
I got seasick.
Did you already feed the fish?
No.
Not yet? Hopefully not.
We will see.
Luckily, everything stayed where it was supposed to stay. The only one being fed by fish was the seagulls that were hovering above a small trawler that we met outside Borkum's fairway. What a harsh job these people do every day in waters that let you feel like you're being washed in a washing machine sometimes. The next day it was time to discover the island a little bit. With the island bus, we went to the main town of Borkum. We strolled through the town and saw lots of wild animals on land and on the sandbanks. Bathing tourism on the island started in 1830 and is today one of the main sources the residents earn their money with. In 2015, around 280,000 tourists came to Borkum, also for medical reasons. The fresh air breeze filled with minerals is quite good for people with chronic respiratory diseases, for example.
Borkum has a known island sign with the Latin words meaning calm in the midst of waves. The right shows Borkum's old lighthouse. The whales are supposed to symbolize the formerly important whaling. Borkum had many successful commanders and harpooneers. Whaling helped the island to some prosperity in the 18th century. While walking through town, we stumbled over one special relic from those days.
This place over here that you can see here, the house and all the ground around it, is surrounded by whale bones, which a lot of people from Borkum caught in the earlier history or in the earlier times of the island. And what you can see here, this is the house, or this used to be the place where the house was, of a captain and commander of the Dutch fleet, whale fleet, called Roelof Gerritsmeijer. That was his name. And as you can read here on the sign, he lived from 1712 to 1798, and he caught 311 whales in his life. And they caught these whales up in the Arctic Ocean and in Greenland. And so he spent a lot of time away from home, far away from home. And this is one of the last relics that you can see around the island, with these old whale bones around. As you can see, they have all suffered a little bit from the weather conditions here, but it's very impressive to see how huge these whale bones are, and they are from the so-called, it says over here, the Greenland whales. These ones, they caught so many of these whales that they almost died out, and at a certain time, I think it said in 1931, they set them, or they tried to save them, and you were not allowed to catch them anymore. As we continued a little exhibition, we stumbled over the gravestone of Rolof's father, Gerrit Danielsmeyer, who was married to Suetje Peters. The gravestone is one of the oldest ones on the cemetery. The skull symbolized the transience of life on Earth. All of his 3 sons were successful commanders on Dutch whaling ships that hunted up in the Arctic oceans. We also learned that Borkum, like the other East Frisian Islands, is not a fragment of earlier mainland like the North Frisian Islands, but was formed through washed-up sands. It was formed in 1863 by 2 previously separate islands, which were divided by shallow water. The seam between the former eastern and western parts can still be found today and is called Tuskender, meaning through in between in East Frisian Low German, a dialect used frequently in the area. Today it can be found right north of the airport.
We loved learning so many interesting facts about 2 of the East Frisian Islands. But on the next day it was time to set sail to Delfzijl, the entrance to the Staande Mastroute. are now in the Ems Canal. It's a part of the Staande Mastroute, and we are now about 5 nautical miles of Groningen. There will be our next stop. This is quite nice because you can go through Holland to the Netherlands without getting your mast down. The Staande Mastroute is a good alternative for crossing the Netherlands, especially to avoid bad weather in the Wadden Sea. It is possible for ships with a maximum draft of 2.5 meters and an air draft of maximum 30 meters. We started in Delfzijl and passed Groningen, Leeuwarden and many other small nice towns on our way to the IJsselmeer.
Groningen is the capital city of the province Groningen in the Netherlands and also the largest one in the north of the country. It is more than 950 years old. Around 231,000 people live there and about 50,000 are students that attend one of the two universities. The city is known as the metropolis of the north, or also as Martini-stad, referring to the oldest and biggest tower of the town, the Martini-toren. 2002, Groningen was officially named Fietsstad of Holland, the top bike city in the Netherlands.
We are in Groningen. Groningen, like the Netherlands people say. Really beautiful here, but so many bicycles, you can't believe it. You have to really watch out where you're going.
Around 60% of all ways within the city are done by bike or moped, fiets and bromfiets as they are called in Dutch. Being a moped lover, especially Ilya loved the name bromfiets with brom imitating the sound a moped makes when taking off. No wonder if you have a look at how well adapted the city is to bike riding in town with all its well-paved bikeways crossing public places. There are even special bridges for cyclists to cross canals, while cars have to wait for passing ships at other bridges. At some intersections, traffic lights allow the crossing of the bikes in all directions. And it lives up to its name, as there were hardly any cars in town. Maybe also because many streets are officially car-free.
Thank you for watching the episode. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. See you next week.